All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is the weekly eCom planning session. So, my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get organized, get focused, get consistent in their business. And if that's you, you'll be given the opportunity to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. But today is all about planning for our success next week. That's the biggest piece of this. We want you to have a highly productive, highly profitable, highly successful day. So, in order to get that going, what I want to invite you to do is first, I want to invite you to share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the weekly ecom planning session. Number two, grab a notebook. If you don't have a notebook, get a notebook and pen. Or if you want to do this online, you can open up a Google spreadsheet. If you want to use Excel, that's fine. But Google is free. That's what I love about Google. So if you don't know how to open up a Google spreadsheet, what I will do is I will walk you through that. So the reason we do the weekly planning session is because we want to be intentional about what we do every single day so we can gain traction in our business and so we can be successful. So we're planning for our future success because it's all the incremental improvements implemented over time that are going to reshape our business. That's going to improve our business. So we're live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. And if you have grabbed your notebook and pen, fantastic. You're going to use about 4 to 5 pages in your notebook. If you have the eCom planner, the My eCom planner, you can go to myecomplanner.com to purchase the 2023 eCom planner. But if you don't have it, again, grab a notebook and pen. And if you want to use a Google spreadsheet, then the way you get to that is you open up your Gmail account. And once you open up your Gmail account, next to your initials in the upper right-hand corner are 9 dots. I call it the Rubik's Cube, but they're 9 dots clustered together. Click on that. And then once you click on it, click on Drive. And when you click on Drive, it's going to open up a new window. Once it opens up a new window, on the left-hand side, you're going to click on the big plus, and you're going to select the green spreadsheet. Okay. And so why do we need these two things? Well, the reason we need them is because of the fact that we're actually going to put together a game plan for our success, not just for next week, but ongoing as well. So the initial part of this is building a template so that we can have a kind of guide, a direction, a path to success for next week. And so it kind of outlines the activities that we're going to engage in our business and in our life, because this is not just about our business. And then we're going to take those activities and we're going to move it to the actual schedule for next week. So in the eCom planner, you'll be able to fill in the actual activities you're going to engage in when it comes to your life and your business so that you can have a productive and successful week. If you, again, don't have the ecom planner, that's fine. We're going to build the template. If you've already gone through the exercise of building a template before, that's also okay. You can move straight to the actual. So since we're live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group, if you haven't already done so, you can go and download the weekly ecom planning checklist. And once you download the weekly ecom planning checklist, you'll be able to see that sample schedule that we already have as a template or our guide of activities. And you can plug and play with that if you've already built your template to decide what are the activities you're going to do. So when we talk about the what, we're talking about that listing activity. You say you're going to list next week. So what are the products you're going to list? Now, if you're an e-commerce seller, you know you can't just list Valentine's Day stuff on Valentine's Day. You got to list it way before Valentine's Day. So you really should be starting like in December listing Valentine's Day stuff, or either in January. But listing it on Valentine's Day is not going to give you the opportunity to get any sales because the day is already here. So it's all about advanced planning. So the same thing with St. Patty's Day or same thing with Mother's Day or Easter. You're doing things in advance. So when we say you're going to engage in listing, if one of the activities you're going to do next week is listing, what are you going to actually be listing? Are you going to go ahead and create your listings for your Easter products? Are you going to create your listings for your St. Patty's Day products? Are you going to create your listings for Mother's Day products? Again, we're doing all this stuff in advance. We're not doing it on the day of. So that's part of this advanced planning that we're going to be doing as part of the activities. Again, if you're shipping, what are you going to be shipping? So if you're a person that sends in shipments to Amazon or you send them into WFS, what products you're going to be shipping to them? Because again, they need to have them in advance. So are you going to be sending in your Easter products now? Are you going to be sending in your Mother's Day products now? So again, when you say shipping as an activity, then we're going to get into the details when we build the actual schedule to say, okay, what am I going to be shipping? I'm going to be shipping in my Easter products to my, fulfillment center, whether it be WFS or FBA or some other fulfillment center. So that is the reason why we build the template. And then from the template, we indicate what are we going to be doing? What are we doing? If we're doing product research, what are we doing product research on? If we're doing sourcing, if we're sourcing from a specific, we're sourcing specific products, where or who are we sourcing those products from? If you have established partners that you work with, who are we ordering those products from? So we have them in hand and ready to rock and roll before the event occurs, whatever that major event is. Now, if you're not a holiday driven person, like if you've got private label or whatever, again, there's going to be potentially some opportunities to pair your private label product with an upcoming event. So let's say you sell coffee. So maybe you have an opportunity to sell his and hers coffee mugs for Valentine's Day. Well, again, that's something you would have put together as maybe a bundle, and you would have started marketing that or created that bundle maybe in December, create the listing in January, or even back all the way up to November, so that way those sales can be happening now for the his and hers coffee mugs. So even if you have private label, there's always an opportunity to pair it with some major activity that's coming up where people are going to be in a natural stream of buying, natural stream of awareness of something that's coming up, so that way you have the opportunity to get some of those sales. So we are in February. If you didn't already participate in the monthly planning session, you can always go back and listen to that recording. You can listen to the replay on Clubhouse. You can also listen to the replay inside of the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So you have an opportunity to be able to use that to help you to build a really good, strong schedule for February. Since we are at February the 4th, we're 4 days in. So that means you got at least 24 days to be, make a dent in February. All right. So you got your notebook, or you got your spreadsheet, or you've got your e-commerce planner. Now let's build out the template. Again, if you've already built out the template before, go straight into the what. Go straight into the what when it comes to every single activity in your template schedule. So let's build the template. The template is pretty much the first part of the template. There's like two pieces to it. The first part is dumping all the stuff out of your brain. It's all the stuff that you do either on autopilot or the things you really want to do in your business, but you don't really do. Okay. Or you don't do them consistently, or you've never done them. It could be that as well. So it's about putting together a game plan so that you have the opportunity to gain some traction, because whatever you do in February and then those things that you continue to do in March, that's going to help you guarantee to have a much better first quarter. And the knowledge that you gained or the consistency that you gained is going to benefit your second quarter. So all of this stuff builds on top of each other. It's not that they're done separately. They all build and contribute to each other. So let's build that template. The first thing is, if you got the notebook, you're going to need about 5 pages. On the first page, again, we're doing a brain dump so we can extract all this information, our thoughts, our ideas out of our brain. The first part is to write down the things that you already do. This is things that you do in your week, every single week consistently. And it includes all your personal things. Because again, we're not just building the schedule in a vacuum. We're talking about all the stuff that you do that is personal. Maybe you go out and you work out every single morning. Maybe you get up and you have coffee and you meditate. Maybe you go to Bible study on Wednesdays. Like, what do you do that are things that you do on autopilot that serve your life and your business well? So if they contribute positively to your life, like going to go work out in the morning is a good thing. It's good for your health. It's good for your mental state. So it serves your business and your life well. There's things you have to do with your kids. Maybe your child has karate practice and you have a commitment to that time. That's a committed activity that you have to do every single week. My son has track practice, so that's a committed activity that we have to do every single week, no matter what. So, what are the things that you do already in your life that actually serve your life well? Now, if you start writing down stuff that you do and they don't serve your life well, they create a massive amount of stress or anxiety or frustrate you, then you don't want to put that on the list. Don't put that on the list. Okay. So we're creating 3 columns in our notebook, and in our spreadsheet, we're creating 3 columns. The first column is the brain dump of the things that we already do. Write it out in sentence form or write it out in 2 or 3 or 4 word form, and then column going down. The next column next to that is the column where you're going to put the day in which you normally do that activity. And the column next to that is where you're going to put the time in which you currently do those activities. Again, these are things that you have commitments or that you do regularly, and you want to keep doing those things regularly. You don't want to stop it, okay? Because they are serving your life or your business well. The stuff that's not serving your life or business well, those are things you want to rethink, because life is entirely too short to be stressed all the time. So we don't want to keep the stuff that's creating us stress. All right. The next part of this is on page 2 is you're going to write down all the things you feel like you need or must do in your life. These could be things that you're not doing right now at all, that you're not doing in your business. And it's part of the lifeblood of even being successful as an e-commerce seller, or that you're not doing in your life. And you know that you would reduce your stress significantly if you just did these things. So maybe exercise is one of those things you've been trying to do, but you are so random about it. Like you walk maybe once every, I don't know, 3 times a month. And you're like, you know what? I know my life would be so much better if I walked every single day. Or I know my life would be so much better if I was more consistent about hydrating every single day. Or I know my life would be so much better if I was listing every single day. So write down all the things that you need or must do. Listing is the lifeblood of your business. If you don't create listings, you don't have a business, period. So if you're not creating listings consistently, that should be on your need or must do. And we're going to go through a couple of things so you can get an idea. Then page 3, and same thing with your spreadsheet. So your spreadsheet, you have a spreadsheet. So column A1 is things that you already do. And next to column A1 is column B1 and C1. That's the day in which you do them and the time in which you do them. So fill that in. Then column A, B, C, D, E, D1. D1 is things that you need or must do in your life or your business. Okay. And E1 and F1 are the days and time. You can leave those columns blank, and on your notebook, you can leave the day and the time blank, because we're going to fill it in later, like playing Tetris or putting together puzzle pieces, because we want to find the best fit for the activities in which you need to do in your business or need to do in your life. And we want to find the best time and the best fit based on a couple of different factors. And we'll talk about those in a second. The next thing is the things that you want or should be doing. You want to do them, you do them, but you're very random about it. So maybe you are walking instead of 3 times a month. You're actually walking at least 2 or 3 times a week. And you really like, I really want to get to a place where I'm walking 5 days a week or 6 days a week. Or I really want to get to a place where I'm listing 5 days a week. Or I really want to get to a place where I'm sourcing 3 days a week and I'm really inconsistent about it. So these are things that you're doing, but you're not doing them well, or you're not doing them consistently, or you're not giving them committed time. So you want or should be doing these things to either improve your life, reduce your stress, or make things better. Okay. So that's going to go under column G1, H1, and I1 in your spreadsheet. So G1 should be things that you want to do in your life. And then H1 and I1 are going to be the day and the time. Leave those 2 columns blank. And your new sheet on your notebook is going to be want. These are things you want or should be doing, but you're not doing them consistently. So you are doing them, but you're very random about them. And you're going to fill in column 1 of that page in your notebook is things that you want to do. And then you'll leave the columns next to it for day and time blank. So now that you kind of built out your 3 pages in your notebook and you've got your 9 columns in your spreadsheet, you're going to start filling in those columns. So what do I fill in those columns with? Let me give you some more ideas. So when it comes to personal or life related stuff, like maybe right now you go to church every single month, every single Sunday, no matter what. So that's something you already do. You put it under your already do column. Like I go to church at XYZ time, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever time it is. You go to church. Maybe you do Bible study every Wednesday, no matter what, unless it's ice. Like we had ice. So I'm in Texas. We don't know how to handle bad weather here. So we had ice. So again, write down, something that you already do. Maybe you actually do exercise every single day, or maybe you don't. Like if you do, then write it down as something you already do. Same thing with like balancing your family budget or doing meal prep. We do meal prep. We're going to be doing meal prep. It's on Saturday. So we do meal prep. That's a natural thing that we do. And so we already sort of geared up to be able to do that today. And that's something we do every Saturday. We do meal prep for the week. So I don't have to cook all week because I don't like doing that. Okay. And that way it makes the boys more independent. They can fix their own plates. Maybe you don't balance, like I said, building a budget. Maybe there are other things like cleaning your house. Maybe that's something that you feel like you do maybe once a month and you really should be doing it every week. You put it under should be doing. So there's things that you do that are personal related when it comes to your family or your kids, or maybe even your pets, or checking in on in-laws or family members that are shut in, or contacting. Maybe you could do a girls' lunch every Friday. So, a group of girlfriends, you guys go out and you do lunch. That's fantastic. Something you already do and it serves your life well, then you should do it. If it creates a lot of anxiety and stress, you probably should rethink it for 2023. Because again, life is entirely too short to be getting triggered by other people. So, or to allow people to trigger you. So, all right, now let's get into your business. So, when it comes to your business, again, which column or section does this go under? Okay, so sourcing related activities, sourcing for products that you're going to be selling in the next 4 to 20 weeks. Yeah, 4 to 20 weeks. So, sourcing related activities, are you doing that level of advanced planning or are you not? Does it just like come up on you like, oh my gosh, next month is blah, blah, blah. I should be buying that inventory and creating those listings. Okay. Um, Upcoming holidays, events, seasonal, thinking about the next 4 to 20 weeks. Do you do that level of advanced planning? Do you go out there and you check for your replenishables, or do you go and purchase your replenishables in enough time before you run out? Consumables, if you're selling those, wholesale orders from suppliers. Now we're in the Chinese New Year, so again, something to rethink, because now you got to figure out where you're going to get that stuff. Drop shipping opportunities. Again, looking at how you're running your business from a sourcing standpoint, private label and white label opportunities. What type of advanced planning are you doing when it comes to sourcing? Is it something that you already do, something that you need to do and you're not doing it, or things that you want or should be doing? You do it randomly. You're really not intentional about it. You just like, oh, okay, I happened to be at the store, so I picked up an extra 20 of this. Is it random? So think about that. Number 2 is research, product research, listing research, keyword research. Are you doing any of those things? Which columns do they go under? Or which spreadsheet or page does it go on? Okay. If you're not doing any product research, or maybe you're doing a very thin version of product research, that's something you should probably revisit. Then next is listing related activities. Listing related activities around creating listings for the title, the description, images, the price, cross listing, using multi-channel, doing multi-channel selling, creating listing videos that showcase your product. Especially now, people are video driven, visual driven. They've been visual driven for a while. So you always want to make sure your listings are mobile ready, and mobile friendly, sorry. But video is like a huge deal. So what are you doing to promote your products when it comes to video? Is it, again, which sheet does this go on? Which column does this go on under? Next is shipping related activities when it comes to shipping your inventory into your fulfillment center, your warehouse, or shipping them directly to your customer. Maybe you're not really consistent about getting your shipments out to your customers in a timely manner. And that's something you need to fix for 2023. Maybe you're really good about it and you have a committed time every single day and every week in which you send your shipments to your customer yourself. Or maybe you have a committed time or day in which you check for orders that are auto shipped for you, like drop shipping or print on demand orders, you're going out there and checking, or maybe it's something you've outsourced to a VA, or maybe it's something that you need to do and it needs to go in your need column. Okay. These are things to think about. Also, when you're sending your shipments into your fulfillment centers, if you're using FBA or WFS, when you're sending, or if you're using Deliver or whoever you're using. Next is your administrative activities. I think this is one that we all run from. I'm just going to be honest about it. And so, administrative tasks, these are running your platform reports. Look, if you are a committed seller, these platform reports are not created for nothing. They're not. They serve a purpose and they can help you in your business, even if it's minor. So again, use the reports that are given to you or provided to you by the platforms to make business and data-driven decisions. So are you running those reports or you're not running them? Do you even know what they look like? Do you need to learn what the reports are for your platform? Again, or the different filters that are available so you can filter the reports and run them by different ways? Are you filing your taxes? It's tax season. So getting your taxes done, doing your quarterlies, all of that stuff. Are you getting your taxes done? Bank reconciliation, reconciling your bank accounts for your business or bank account if it's singular, doesn't matter. Reconciling your inventory, reconciling your expenses. Are you going through and doing any of that reconciliation? Are you creating a budget? Are you trying to balance your budget? Because again, you have a budget for each month. What's your budget for February? If you don't have one, then you put that probably on your list. But again, these are activities in your business, administrative activities. Tracking your expenses, tracking your receipts, ordering inventory, checking for expiration dates, auditing your inventory, going through and creating standard operating procedures for your VAs, or just in general, because maybe you plan on scaling your business and you want to sell it. So having all of your books in order and your operational documents in order is going to help you look more attractive if you want to sell your business. Okay. Reviewing and adjusting your prices, analyzing your data, reviewing your statistics. Like there's tools that you can use to, do repricing, and that's fine. And maybe there's some review of that you should be doing on a regular basis instead of just letting the tool itself do all the work. So, did any of that speak to you, or does any of that go under specific columns for you? And this is not everything. Let me just tell you, all the stuff that I'm kind of help trigger in your brain are not things that, like, there's more than just what I'm saying. But hopefully it will get the juices flowing so that way you can figure out, oh yeah, and I need to write down this and I forgot to write down that. And da, 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 da. So which column, which page do these things go under? Customer service related activities. So this is handling customer questions. Do you respond to customer questions? Do you have a process for handling returns or refunds? Do you go through and check reviews? Is this something you're already doing, should be doing, need to be doing? Education. What is it that you need to get better at? What is it that you need to better understand? What skill do you need to develop? What knowledge do you need to gain? Is there something you need to learn? So I'm going to give you an example, brief one, of how this can play into your success for the year. If you go through the process of making sure that learning is an intentional block in your activities that you do in a week. And I'm not saying that it needs to be 8 hours of what you do. It needs to only be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half max, depending on the number of hours you work in your business. So if you're only working 5 to 8 hours a week in your business, then maybe 30 minutes every single week is all you need for learning and education, because you should be doing, and engaging in income producing, income retaining, or income generating activities. Those should be where the majority of your time is invested. If you're working in your business from 9 to 15 hours or even 18 hours, then an hour every single week is enough for learning and education, because you're going to focus on one thing per week. And then if you're working in your business anywhere from 18 or more hours per week, then an hour and a half max is enough time. So you should be learning something that's going to help change the game for your business, something that's going to improve your business. So 30 minutes of focused energy, focused time on just getting better at listing optimization is something that's going to benefit all of the following quarters if you focus on that for 1 month. If you focus on that intentionally, You will get better at listing optimization, and you'll get better at creating listings in February. And you can apply that in March, April, May, June, July, all the way up to fourth quarter. So again, what you learn now, you build on that and you continue to execute it. The great thing about having dedicated time to learn something, it means that as soon as you learn it, you immediately apply it. There's too many times that people buy courses and they get involved in whatever they buy, and they take a program and then they never apply what they learned. Oh, well, I took that course. It was a great course. But did you apply any of it? Why spend the money if you're not going to apply it as soon as you learn it? You need to apply it immediately. So that's the reason why we have dedicated time for learning every single week, so that whatever we learned, we're immediately applying it the rest of the week. So if your learning time is on Sunday, then you're applying it Monday through Saturday as you run your business. That could also apply to your own personal life. Maybe there's some things that you want to learn or get better in your own personal life. Whatever you learn, immediately implement or apply it to the rest of the week. That reinforces it, and it allows you to build that habit a little bit faster because you're applying the knowledge you just gained, and you're being consistent about it and intentional about when these activities are happening. So something to think about. The next one is marketing and traffic related activities. Things that are going to drive traffic to your listings, help you to get more eyeballs, organic traffic, or get more sales. So, sending your listings through Pingler or Ping Farm, selling it, sharing them on social media or in a blog. If you don't have any money, then you won't be doing a lot of paid ads. You may be doing some email marketing, because you can do free email accounts, email marketing out to a certain number of contacts. So there's a lot of platforms that will allow you, like the free version of up to 500 contacts, or video marketing. Again, something you can do absolutely free on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Stories, all of that. Listing optimization, again, that doesn't cost you any money unless you're going to buy the training to do that. Engaging with influencers is going to cost you a little bit of money. But again, there may be some influencers that are willing to do some stuff for you just so they can get some exposure. Promotions, coupons, sales. Some platforms, some of those features are discounted and or are free, depending on the platform in which you sell on. And some of them are not. They're going to be paid features. And then you have paid campaigns, paid ads, running things, Google ads, YouTube ads, Facebook, Instagram, Amazon. So if you have money to invest, great, but you can do a bunch of stuff that doesn't cost you any money that can help you potentially drive traffic to your avatar, your ideal customer. So did any of that speak to you? Is there any of that like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. I should put that needs to go under the should. That goes under the need to do. That's something I'm already doing. Okay. So for those people that are extremely organized, or at least have an established routine, there may be a couple of tweaks that they want to make to their template, and their established routine works really well and serves their life and their business well, serves their family and everything that they've got going on really well. But for others who are really inconsistent about what they do every single week, inconsistent about what they're focused on and where they're investing their energy, putting together a template, kind of a guidebook on what I'm going to be doing every single day, is really good to help you to build the actual schedule. So for some of you, you don't need that level of detail because you're fairly consistent. You have an established routine. For others, if you don't, you find yourself at the end of a day or at the end of the week going, what did I get done this week? Like, what did I actually get done? Like, you feel like you don't get anything done. Then building this template will hopefully help you to regain control of where you're wasting time and where you need to invest your time to get the biggest bang for your buck and to improve your life and your business. That's ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do. We're trying to get our numbers up. We're working to improve our life and our business. That's really all that matters. Okay. Sorry, I had to go and unlock my phone again. So I hope that first part helps you just kind of get the brain juices going. Now, once we kind of get the brain juices going, and going through that brain dump may take a little bit of time, go ahead and do that. The next step is to fill in those columns where I said, leave these blank. And that's the day and the time. You have to look at your life and see what makes sense for you. So if listing is one of those things that you're like, I'm not really good at that, being consistent thing, but I really feel like it's going to help me. and you think about your day, this is where we kind of take a step back and we go, what is my most productive time of the day? Is getting up first thing in the morning and getting going after maybe a walk or having coffee and meditating or reading your Bible, and you're ready to rock and roll. If that's your most productive time of the day, fantastic. That's where you want to put the most income producing, income impacting activities. Things that are going to impact your income the most need to go in your most productive time of the day window. Things that you know that if you did them in the afternoon, you did them in the evening, you know, you're like, this is not going to work out because it's going to take me 10 hours to do something that should only take me 2 hours to do. Or it's going to take me 10 hours to do something that should only take me 30 minutes to do. So there is a most productive time of the day that all of us have. And you need to figure out what yours is. For most people, it is first thing in the morning. So if you have a 9 to 5 and you're like, my most productive time of the day is first thing in the morning, but I got to go to my 9 to 5. This is where we look at our lives and we go, maybe, just maybe I can go to bed 30 minutes earlier. And maybe I can get up an hour earlier than what I do so I can work in my business for an hour. Or maybe, just maybe, I can, if the evening works better for you, maybe I just stay up an hour later. So you need to figure out where you can buy or squeeze time. Because if this is your jam, if this is what you want to build, this is what you want to do, you got to find those pockets. Single mom, 2 special needs kids, that's who I am. But I used to take my sons to therapy all the time. And when I would go to take them to therapy, I would always have my laptop, my notebook with me. I have my laptop bag with my notebook and my pen, and I would work in the car. I would walk the kids in, check them in, talk to the therapist, and then go straight to the car and begin working in my business. So I would work my business in the pockets. Some of you have pockets of time, but you're spending that pocket of time on TikTok, or you're spending it binge watching Netflix or whatever, and you're not investing it in something that's really going to move the needle in your business. Some of you have $1 million business ideas, but you're not spending the time to do the things that you need to do to make that $1 million become a reality. So where are you? You have to be honest with yourself. I don't know. Where are you really wasting your time? Where are you losing time? What are those activities that you are engaging in on a regular basis? You've habitually been doing them, and they really are not serving your life well. And what can you do to kind of snap yourself back into reality so that you can stop doing them or use that time differently? Turn it into an income producing activity time. Turn it into an income generating or income retaining activity time, and reduce the habit. Social media has done a lot to really jack up people with ADD, ADHD, and to distract all of us, distracting us to the point where we're not as productive in our jobs or we're not as productive in our businesses. And so, you have to maybe install an app so you can get some quiet time so you can work in your business. You have to go put your phone in another room and turn off the ringer and the notifications. It is okay to miss a phone call. It is okay not to get those notifications if you're working in your business. So once you build this template and you find those windows in which you're committing to working in your business, make sure that you work in your business and not get distracted. That pattern interrupt throughout the day will jack you up. It will. It will jack up your productivity. It will jack up your success in your business. Make 2023 the year in which you get a bunch of stuff done. Make 2023 the year that you're going to blow your business up. So the way that you do that is you got to figure out what those distractions are, and you need to implement a solution that will help you to be a little less distracted. And you got to break some habits. The thing is, some of the stuff that you do, it's a habit now. And these are bad habits. And so it's going to take a while to break that bad habit because you're going to go back to the comfort zone because you like it there. You're going to have to figure out how to force yourself to go against the grain, like salmon swimming upstream, and use that time for something that's far more productive. So you can leave a legacy either for yourself or for your family because you've built this amazing business. So that's a reality check for you. Figure out your most productive time of the day and start filling in those other 2 columns on which day and which time makes the most sense for you. Think about that. And where are you willing to commit some additional time or invest some additional time so that you can be successful in that window? Now, a couple of the things that you wrote down are going to become different types of goals and or different types of activities. Some of the goals are good. Some of the things you wrote down are going to become mini habits that you want to build or mini goals. A mini habit is something that you can start off small and build momentum around, something that's easily attainable. So let's just use something simple like drinking water. Maybe you're one of those people, you're like, I normally don't drink like 32 ounces of water. I really want to get up to 60, 64. So you start off with something simple like, okay, drink 2 glasses of water every single day for a week. Then you get up to 3 glasses every single week. Then you get up to 4 or 5, and you build momentum until you get to that place where you're drinking 8 glasses of water every single day. That's just one example. Another might be listing. Maybe right now you are not listing consistently, but you want to gradually get up to your goal of 10 listings every single day. So we start with the little progression. Maybe we start off with 2 listings every single 5 days a week for 1 week. Then we go to week 2 and we do 3 listings 5 days a week for the rest of the week. And then we go to 4 and then 5, and then we get to the place where we're finally at 10. It's a gradual progression. You're still building the habit of consistency because you're engaging in and you're committing to engage in the activity of listing every single day, no matter what. Even if the volume is tiny, you're still doing it. So you're building the habit of listing, and then you're gradually increasing it to get to your goal number. So it's something that's easily attainable. Can you create 1 listing? Yeah. So you can say, I just want to start with 1. That's fine. Start with whatever. The point is just to start. The point is to start. Whatever it is, just to start. Same thing with sourcing or product research or shipping to your customers or checking your shipments that are going out on autopilot. It's just to start. That's it. And then gradually build up to whatever your target goal or number is. The next is habit stacking. These are like routines that make sense, things, activities that go together. So habit stacking, an example might be listing. We'll go back to listing. Listing is easy. So go to listing, and maybe you're a person that does retail arbitrage or you do thrifting. And so what happens is you come in from thrifting and you just throw your stuff wherever you throw your stuff. And when it's time to sit down and do your listing activity, instead of listing X number of listings in an hour, maybe it's 10 listings an hour or 20 listings an hour, you only get 3 done. And you have to reevaluate, why is it that I only get 3 listings created? What am I doing wrong? Well, it could be that you haven't evaluated your process, because you got to go down to another room. I'm upstairs, so I say downstairs. But anyway, you got to go to another room. You got to go get the bags that have the products that you bought. And then you got to take the stickers off. And then you got to wipe them down. And then you got to take the pictures. And then you got to upload the pictures. And then you got to do keyword research. And you don't know what the description is, price, da, da, da. These are all things you got to do. So how can you make that more streamlined, more efficient than what I just described? That's the reason why it takes you, and in 1 hour, you only get 3 listings created, and then you're deflated, Lord, I'm going to say deflated, and you're defeated, and you're deflated by the fact that it takes you forever to do this. And then you're like, this e-commerce thing doesn't work. I created 5 listings and I got no sales. Well, first of all, 5 listings is not going to make you a millionaire. And so it's just not, I mean, you might have a private label product and maybe your private label product is selling like hotcakes, but you still have to get some traction around that product. It has to be a product that's in demand. So anyway, so you're very frustrated. You say this e-commerce thing doesn't work, but it does actually work. It's how are you doing what you're doing? So it could be that you need to take the things and prep them as soon as you come in. Take an extra 5 or 10 minutes and prep those items and put them in your office near your shadow box and your ring light, so that when it is time to list, all your stuff is in one place. That saves you 5 minutes, or it saves you 6 minutes, so you can really list. Maybe what you do is, while you're doing that, you slap some prices of stickers with post-it notes with whatever the price is you're going to sell it. Or a better thing is, like, if you're listing on, let's see, Amazon, when you scan an item, maybe you're going out and doing retail arbitrage. When you scan an item, click list so it's already in your back office. That way you don't have to manually add it later. It's just a matter of creating the shipment at that point to go to Amazon. So again, what are the things that you could be doing to streamline that process and put the things that go together that make the most sense? So break down all your steps in your process. Figure out where things are not flowing well. And then this takes more time, and I'm wasting another 3 minutes over here, and I'm wasting 5 minutes over here, and I'm wasting 10 minutes because I got to go do this other thing. And then by the time you're done with all that, you will find where your time is going and streamline that entire process. Get rid of all of the wasted minutes, make it more efficient so that that way you can get it done. So you're putting together the things that make the most sense. The routine of stopping and going to go pick up stuff is what's going to slow you down when you need to create listings. When you get ready to create listings, you need to just sit down and list, not walk around the house to find your stuff, not be taking pictures, not be doing all that other stuff. Okay. So figure out, and this applies to your life too. Look at your morning routine or evening routine. If they're a nightmare and they create a lot of stress and there's a lot of chaos around them, fix that. Figure out how you can streamline it, collapse it so that that way it's way more efficient. Get rid of the fluff, put things in the natural flow in which they actually should occur or do occur. I had to do that with my morning routine and evening routine with my boys. And then that way it becomes putting that routine together so it's smooth, and you collapse it from being an hour and 15-minute thing to like a 35-minute activity. Regained some time so you can go invest that time somewhere else. The next one is time blocks. You're going to have some activities that you're going to definitely engage in time blocks. That's just a reality. A listing time is probably going to be a committed time block. If you have a job or a business where you've got other things that you're doing, and so you can't have a committed time for your listing, then you're going to have to figure out how to work that out. But you're going to have time blocks for different things. You may also have checklists for different activities, and there's going to be some things that you're going to have to create some SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, or attainable, realistic or relevant, timely, or time bound. So one of your goals might be to create in the month of February 300 listings, where you're going to have to divide that 300 into how many listings do I need to create each week. Maybe that's 75 listings each week. 75 listings each week. If you're listing 5 days a week, then you have to divide that number out to get how many listings do you need to create each day to reach your 75. So again, reverse engineering your numbers so you can figure out what it's going to take to get to your end goal of 300 listings in the month of February. So create some goals. All right. So now that we've kind of gone through and we've started with this template, we're going to take all the information that we have on those 3 sheets of notebook paper, and we're going to use the 4th sheet of notebook paper, and we're going to kind of organize it and start building a template or a schedule. In our Google Sheet, we're going to go to the bottom of the Google Sheet on the left-hand side. We're going to click on the tiny plus, and we're going to create a Sheet 2. And Sheet 2 is where we're going to start putting together, like Tetris or like a puzzle. We're going to start putting together a schedule that might make sense for our lives and our business. Something that we're going to strive to follow and say, this is when I do these things, and this is when I do these things, and this is when I do these things, keeping in mind the things that you already have time commitments. So time commitments, especially important ones like taking your child to football practice or going to Bible study. These are time commitments that are important to you or important to your family. So you don't want anything to bleed into that. Now, I will tell you, I'm one of those moms. At football practice, I would probably be in the car working and listening at the same time. So I always find those little pockets of time where I can actually do my business at the same time. But you can't do that at Bible study. You gotta be paying attention. So my point is, you might actually have some pockets inside your dedicated time that you can actually do some other stuff. So after you kind of put that together, I want you to follow that template for at least a couple of weeks. Just try it for 2 or 3 weeks. Try it on, see how it works out. If it doesn't work out, okay, make adjustments, create a new one. If it does work out, fantastic. Know that you will probably have a couple of different versions of your template. So I have 4 different versions. Technically, I have 5, but 4 that I talk about all the time, which is I have one template for when my son is in track that I follow that schedule. I have another template when the kids are out of school, when the kids are in school, and for Q4. So I have 4 different templates that I follow. I have a 5th one for other stuff, like when I'm having a summit or something like that. And that's a completely different template. So those are, the different templates that I have. But you may start off and you only have 1 or you have 2, and you'll eventually need to make variations of this schedule, this routine that you've established. So I know I prepare myself mentally when I'm getting ready to shift to another template, because I'm going to probably be in that template for at least 2 months or at least a month, and then I'm going to have to shift back to another one. And it's not a drastic change, it's just minor tweaks to my routine. So now that we've got our template built, after you spend some time doing that, the next thing I want you to do is build your actual schedule. So I talked about the actual schedule at the beginning of this conversation. I talked about the actual schedule being the what are you going to do when you say that you're listing. If you have a listing time block and it's Monday through Friday from 9 to 10, what are you going to be listing next week? What are you going to be listing next week? If you have a shipping block and it's from 10 to 11, what are you going to be shipping? And where are you going to be shipping it? So it's the details behind the activity, because the template is vague. It really is vague. And you got to put in the meat. You got to say, what am I going to do in this window? Where am I going? Who am I talking to? So if I'm engaging with a supplier, I'm sourcing it from 11 to 12. Who am I sourcing from? You have some established suppliers. You don't know. Okay, then maybe you need to establish that. That's an activity you're going to engage in. Who are going to be my trusted suppliers? For those who have been on the journey for a while, you know who your suppliers are for Easter. You know who your suppliers are for Mother's Day. You know where you're going because you're keeping a list of that stuff. And if you're not, you should get the My Ecom Planner, because you have a place in there to put the sourcing information for every single month, which is fantastic because you can flip through it for next year and go back and say, for Easter, I got my stuff from these 5 places. And for, Mother's Day, I got my stuff from these 9 places. Like, yeah, and this was the product that sold the most, because all of that stuff is trackable in the My Ecom Planner, in the e-commerce planner. But anyway, so this is, so what you want to do is you're going to fill in the what's. Before you fill in the what for next week, I want you to take a glance at what are your monthly goals for February, so that way when you build the schedule out, filling in the blanks, what are the goals that you're shooting for, so that way each week you're making incremental progress towards your monthly goals. In addition to that, as you build this out, you're going to be thinking about what are the priorities for next week. So maybe one of the priorities for next week is to get your Easter bundles built, to take your pictures and to create your Easter bundles, and to take your pictures of your Easter bundles and maybe do your pricing. So that's a priority for you next week. So you're going to write that down as this is a priority. You're going to identify the priorities. If there's some stuff that's family related, then you're going to indicate that that's a priority. Your priorities for the week, there's normally around 3 to 5 priorities that if nothing else gets done this week, these 3 things got to get done, or these 5 things got to get done. Whatever they happen to be, whether they be personal or whether they be business, you need to figure out what are the top things that have to happen next week. So what are the priorities? Then you need to pay attention to the habits that you're working to track or to build in the month of February. So what are those habits that you're working to build or to track in the month of February? Okay. And so those habits are, anything that you wrote down for the month of February and you did your monthly planning, you need to make sure that you have activities towards tracking those habits next week. We want to stay on track. We want to continue to build those habits. And then lastly, we're filling in the what's. So when you wrote down that there's a block for product research, what are you doing? What type of product research are you doing in those blocks? What type of product research are you doing in those blocks? When you have listing, what are the products that you're actually listing? When you have shipping, where are you shipping the stuff? What are you shipping and where are you shipping it? And again, if you're not doing the shipping yourself, like if you're doing drop shipping or if you're doing a print on demand, somebody else is shipping it for you. So what are you doing to double check to make sure the shipments went out? Sourcing related activities, where are you sourcing from? Who are you sourcing from? Learning related activities, what are you working to learn in the month of February that you're going to continue in through the rest of the month? Administrative activities, what are the administrative activities? So we're at the beginning of February. You got to close out January if you didn't do that. So those admin activities, plus you got taxes. So make sure you have taxes as a time activity somewhere, possibly in next week. I mean, I would whittle away at those taxes. I mean, you got until, April the 15th. But anyway, and then family and household, those things that are going to keep your house moving smoothly as much as possible. Make sure your kids feel like they're loved and appreciated, or that they don't get on your nerves. your spouse, your pets, family members, whatever. So what are those household, your personal fitness, your health, doctor's appointments, whatever? You need to go look at that stuff. Go look at your online calendar for next week so you can fill in your doctor's appointments and dentist appointments. Go fill in, maybe you were going to go get tires next week or an oil change for your car. Again, these are things that need to get done. Life still needs to happen. So again, you're building and you're filling in the what and the details in your schedule for next week for every single day as much as possible if you are a person that requires that level of planning, so that way you can regain control of your life and regain control of where you're wasting or spending time. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that you will use this to build an amazingly productive schedule for next week. If you need to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session, I've done a lot of coaching sessions and I am happy to do more. So my schedule, it's not full. It was full last week though. This week I got some coming up. But if you want to get on the schedule, you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session by going to ecomsellers.com, clicking on free resources and scheduling a free 20-minute coaching session. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and let's schedule that 20-minute coaching session. If you are wanting some support on your e-commerce journey, you can join eCom Sellers Academy. It's terribly affordable. It's $17.99 a month. You can definitely join. We'd be more than happy to help you on your e-commerce journey. And you can also sign up for the lifetime and get a free e-commerce planner if you want an e-commerce planner. In addition to that, you just go to ecomsellersacademy.com. And then last but not least, if you have not already gotten the e-commerce planner, it is the ultimate e-commerce planner. It's created for sellers by sellers. You can go to myecomplanner.com and to grab the 2023 e-commerce planner. So with that, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get organized, get focused, get consistent in their business. And if that's you, I'm 100% here for you. So we're still live on Clubhouse. If you want to continue the conversation, let's talk about your business. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazingly blessed, extremely productive, and extremely profitable and productive day. Highly profitable day. We'll say goodbye for now. Bye, guys. And we can join me on Clubhouse if you want to keep talking about your business. All right. Bye for now.
Hey, Mama, I'm ready.